for doing it the way that they did. They made appearances for media. They made appearances for award shows. They presented awards. They received awards. They recently appeared at the Kids' Choice Awards a number of years back. Was a big fan of that, along with John Cena. The Bella Twins really became celebrities, and they deserve to be put in the category of a celebrity, definitely in the way of a Trish Stratus or a Lita, people who have came before the Bella Twins, because they definitely worked to get there. Someone like an AJ was just kind of given the distinction of being a celebrity because she was in Scooby-Doo and she was working with the WWE for 5 years and held the championship really for 295 days longer than anyone, as opposed to other reigns we saw as Divas champions of the past, like Michelle McCool and Maurice, who held the title the longest out of anyone, 216 days, as opposed to AJ's 295 days, which AJ beat within a couple of weeks of being Divas champion in her inaugural reign, winning the title back in June of 2013 and holding on to that championship until April of 2014, a total of 295 days, the first ever longest reigning Divas champion. Before AJ, of course, was Maurice. We had other champions like Michelle McCool, who were very impressive champions in their own right. So here comes Nikki Bella, defeating the longest reigning Divas champion in history. After a couple of reigns, was acquired by AJ after her first reign, and Nikki Bella has been promoting the Divas division very professionally, and I do give her credit where credit is due. And will I continue to be a fan of the Bella Twins when they leave the WWE? Of course, I'll be a huge fan of the Bella Twins. I'll be a fan of the Bella Twins until the day I die, because I've just given the Bella Twins credit time after time, and they definitely deserve my credit, unlike some divas who have come in and handled their careers very unprofessionally and just kind of been here one day and gone the next. They've been here 1 minute and gone the next, and so many divas have fallen into that category. And I don't know what it is about WWE and their divas division and how they handle the contracts of the divas division. Now, I know there are contractual disputes that go on with divas. We have seen that in the past time and time again. Sable is one that comes to mind. I mean, Sable from 2003, really before that, back in 1997, 1998, suing the WWE for $110 million. I remember reading that in an article back in 97 or 98. She left the WWE after filing this lawsuit. They finished up the lawsuit. They finalized it in 2002, 2003. Here she comes back again. Now, she only stayed with WWE for the better part of 2.5 years in her second half of her career, but I remember all these contractual disputes, and I don't think there's a contractual dispute with the Bella Twins. I just think it's a mutual agreement by the company and the Bella Twins to go their separate ways. And obviously, WWE.com will be releasing a statement on the release of the Bella Twins. It takes them a while to release statements on the releases of talents. I know it took them a while to release a statement on AJ. It was weeks after AJ had released herself from WWE, and WWE went to their website and posted a statement on AJ's release. And I remember talking about that in a previous video blog here on this YouTube channel. So probably it will be within weeks after the Bella Twins release that we get an official statement posted by WWE.com and on WWEDivas.com, which is the subsite for everything happening with the Divas. But I think this is just a mutual agreement, and obviously within weeks of the Bella Twins release, we'll get a statement from WWE.com on their release. No doubt the WWE does not want to lose the Bella Twins. Let me say that. I don't think the WWE wants to lose the Bella Twins. I think they're desperately trying to hold on to the Bella Twins because they know time is coming up for them, and they're going to do whatever they can to try to hold on to Nikki and Brie Bella because they know how valuable of an asset or assets the Bella Twins are. And there are no Kardashians or there are no Olsen twins, but they are definitely assets, and they definitely have a tremendous amount of experience which can be offered to the upcoming talents in the Divas division. And you can never have enough veteran-like experience in professional wrestling, no matter if it's a male or a female. And I think that WWE realized that about the Bella Twins with how many phenomenal names we have on NXT for their women's division and how many names we're going to be seeing coming up through the ranks in WWE. Definitely the door of opportunity has swung open more widely than it has been over the last number of months because the Bella Twins are going to be departing ways with the company, especially more so because Nikki Bella is Divas champion currently right now and been holding on that title for what feels like forever in the minds of a lot of wrestling fans. Now, you can't get enough of the Bella Twins being champions or being on top if you're a fan of the Bella Twins or one Bella Twin in the way of Brie or Nikki Bella. And I really appreciate how they're fan favorites now going out of WWE. Another thing that could lead to the departure of the Bella Twins is everything that's been going on emotionally with Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, personal-wise. They have been having to deal with a lot of personal issues. Daniel Bryan suffering from his second major injury in less than 1 year. I remember talking about that in my written column for In This Corner with Jonathan Clarke. So definitely it's emotionally affecting Brie Bella, and this could swing the pendulum of wanting to go in her favor. I think that, that has a lot to do with this, and definitely Nikki Bella, of course, being offered a lot of the movie deals outside of WWE with John Cena supporting everything that she does very devotionally, which I really appreciate from John Cena. Obviously, a number of contributing factors are swinging the door more widely open for the Bella Twins to want to go rather than convincing them to stay. But I still think that WWE are going to do whatever they can to try to keep the Bella Twins. I remember when Kelly wanted to leave for reality television and do things outside of the business. She was just basically waiting for her contract to expire so she didn't have to re-sign. And when WWE realized that Kelly was going through the proverbial door, they tried to do everything to try to keep her. They did the same thing with Eve Torres, but no matter how desperately they tried to hold on to Kelly and Eve Torres, Kelly and Eve Torres both left for reality television. Eve Torres did stuff for the UFC even on the side. So they lost out on that deal with Kelly and Eve Torres, and I think they're going to be losing out on this deal with the Bella Twins as long as these offers are still outstanding outside of the WWE. I think that what WWE Divas get to a point is they get to a pivotal point in their career. Stacy Keibler is one back in '05 who had the offer from Dancing with the Stars outstanding outside of WWE, and she had a lot of sitcom offers for different television networks in prime time that were outstanding, and she looked at that as a more appealing offer than anything Vince McMahon or the WWE could have offered her. I think they get to a pivotal point of realization where they don't need the WWE to fall back on, because the WWE in the minds of a lot of divas, I think, is just something to fall back on if they have nothing else going on outside of the wrestling business. And I think a lot of divas come back, come and go because they realize there's nothing for them to fall back on outside of professional wrestling. They know WWE is always going to be there, but I think that, the Bella Twins have a lot of outstanding offers, and this is one of the reasons why they want to go. They don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again, which I do appreciate because it's been said to me many times over the years. Why do something for over 10 years when you can go on and do something else more productive with your life rather than doing the same thing over and over again? Tori Wilson says she could die tomorrow and be happy with everything she's done, every place she's seen, every wrestling fan she's been involved with over the years, every personality she's had a chance to work with, and be happy with her life. I don't think that Tori Wilson would be happy if she died tomorrow because there's still a lot more for Tori Wilson to do outside of professional wrestling. I mean, she had the clothing store, which had a lot of success while it was open. It folded eventually, but she did have a great deal of success with that. She had a lot of outstanding offers with reality television, but even after having done everything seemingly for Tori Wilson, I still think there's a lot for her to do. I mean, there's a possible chance to see her in TNA wrestling. There's a chance for her to come back, win the Divas Championship, which is something she didn't do when they had the women's title back in '04, '05. She got one opportunity at the women's championship from a one-on-one perspective, so there still is a lot of outstanding things for Tori to do in professional wrestling. There's never going to be a point where you're going to have everything done that you wanted to do in your life. And you take a look at Tori Wilson. I mean, Tori Wilson accomplished a lot, and she was one of the more experienced divas from 2001, 2002. When you compare how long divas were running with the company back in 2000, 2001, she was there longer than what Trish Stratus was. So maybe she should have been given the opportunities more than what Trish Stratus should have. I guess work ethic definitely played a lot with Trish Stratus and her decision to want to go after holding the title 6 or 7 times in 6 years. I mean, that's amazing for a diva to have accomplished. But I mean, there's still a lot of outstanding things for people to do in the wrestling business. And I think that a lot of divas over the years have been overshadowed by some divas who WWE believe demonstrate more work ethic. But the Bella Twins definitely have accomplished a lot. And I don't think there's a reason for them to come back. I hope that one day we will see the Bella Twins back in WWE, but I don't think that time is now. I think the Bella Twins have reached a pivotal point where they realize there's everything that they've done, and they don't need to do anything else to impress us. They've impressed us, and they've left an everlasting impression, in my opinion, on the wrestling business. So they just realize, it's time for them to go, and they've hinted that more than enough on Total Divas Season 3, more especially than opposed to the other previous 2 seasons. So if it's time for them to go, how can you not respect it? Respect everything the Bella Twins have done. I know I respect the Bella Twins for everything they have done, even more so by going by their shoot names on the internet and really opening up and being very emotional about their careers in the first half of their careers and how they were treated. Remember how they were just fired backstage after competing on that night's edition of Raw? They were fired backstage, and the commentators handled it so unprofessionally because Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler just got into this conversation during a match on how the Bella Twins had been fired. There was a match going on between 2 phenomenal talents, and then all of a sudden over the headset they're informed of the Bella Twins being fired, and they're told to mention it in very brief statements, and they're just like, okay, the Bella Twins were backstage. They have unfortunately been fired with no explanation. And it was weeks later, we found out about the Bella Twins being fired, and they were going with their shoot names on the internet. And I was saying to myself, what in the name of God is going on here? I mean, Nikki and Brie Bella were phenomenal talents. Now they're going by their shoot names, taking every offer they could outside of WWE to get back on television. They were even working with independent wrestling promotions to get WWE and Vince McMahon's attention. They finally got it, and they got a second opportunity. I really appreciate how WWE gave them the second opportunity, but, you can also choose to look at this as the Bella Twins throwing it back in the faces of WWE. They're pulling a Brock Lesnar from 2007, really. They're throwing the second opportunity they worked so hard to achieve with WWE right back in their faces. They're throwing it back in the face of every executive member of the board, saying we don't want it. It's only been a couple of years since the Bella Twins were back. They've accomplished more in the second half of their career, without a doubt, than they did from the first half of their careers, but they really need to be making their exit in WWE as quickly as what they are, just so soon after coming back to the second half of their careers. I question that, but how can you not respect everything the Bella Twins have done? They are no Kardashians or no Olsen twins. They are definitely not the money maker for the E! Network in the way of the Kardashians and keeping up with the Kardashians, but I think they realized they couldn't compete with the Kardashians no matter how much WWE tried to put over Total Divas. They were no Kim and Khloe Kardashian. They weren't as controversial as Kim and Khloe Kardashian, no matter how many of the divas trying to refer to them as WWE's knockoff of the Kardashian sisters, and I really appreciate how they realized that. I really hated also how WWE took phenomenal wrestlers and tried to turn them into reality stars, and I think the Bella Twins realize, they're more reality stars than they are divas now, and I think they're going to try their hand at something else outside the business, as opposed to other divas like AJ and Paige, who tried their hand at reality television but failed desperately at doing it because they were wrestlers. And I really hated how they tried to take wrestlers in the way of Paiges and Ages, as opposed to the Bella Twins, who were really the only successful divas who made that transition from being divas into reality stars. I really hate how they turn wrestlers who have phenomenal talents and such tremendous gifts in the wrestling business into these reality stars, these knockoffs of the Kardashians and the Olsen twins and Dave and Karma from Death Until Us Part, or Nick and Jessica Newlyweds, Donnie and Jenny. I mean, I really hate how WWE try to compete with these reality shows, which they virtually have no chance of doing. The names on the show definitely give them a chance of doing it, but really, in all reality, they have no chance of competing with Donnie or Jenny or Dave and Karma or, other reality shows who have gotten the ratings. WWE Divas have definitely gotten the ratings with Total Divas, and they've seen higher ratings than they have in more weeks with that show, but the success in terms of a show